In this video, I'm going to talk about a big financial mistake that I was this close to making in the last 24 hours and how you can learn from my decision-making process and hopefully not make the mistake as well down the road. So I want to preface this with this is not financial advice. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just a dude on the internet that doesn't know what he's doing, and that's why I almost made this mistake. But I'm going to share with you the decision-making framework that I use to finally come to the right conclusion, and it will save you guys a lot of money, a lot of time, and ultimately help you hit your goals much sooner. So that said, let's get straight into it. So if you don't already know me, my name is Jeremy Pogue, and I help entrepreneurs start and scale consulting companies online up to and beyond 7 figures a year. So that said, what was this mistake that I almost made? Well, I almost bought a brand new car. I almost bought a sick, nasty, dirty little Audi SUV that had my name written all over it. It's been something I've been eyeing up for a long time, and I was literally at the dealership a couple times in the last week, and after some pretty intense negotiations, I was this close to signing on the dotted line, but I didn't. Now, one of the things that one of my early mentors taught me was to become the type of client you want to attract. And since I do a lot of sales, especially high ticket sales and stuff like that, I want to embody the traits that I want my prospects to come to me with as well, right? So I want to, when I buy things, I want to make clear decisions. I want to make quick decisions and not dick around too much. So it was very interesting for me being on the other side to kind of see what's going on there. But nonetheless, I'll kind of walk you through the situation here. So if I were to buy this, there's kind of two sides. Why do people buy? They buy on emotion, and then they justify it with logic, right? We all know this. If you've been watching my videos, then you understand this. So this was purely an emotional purchase. I have another vehicle right now. I have an SUV that's basically the same size, four-wheel drive. Mine actually has a bigger engine and a lot more power to it right now, but it's a little bit older. And this one, literally, it all came back to, why was I looking at a new vehicle? It literally all just came back to this. It was just a completely emotional decision because I thought it would look sick, because it would be sick to drive this Audi. That was literally it. Logically, emotionally, it was let's go pull the trigger. Logically, I was like, dude, it doesn't make sense. You already have this thing. And it kind of follows one of the things that helped me kind of make the right decision here was an old Chinese quote that goes, I don't care if the cat is black or white, so long as it catches mice. My current vehicle right now catches mice. It does its purpose. It's fully paid off. I don't owe a dime. Insurance is cheap, and I don't care what happens to it because I love going out into the back roads and just ripping down dirt roads and stuff like that. And if I had a brand new Audi, I don't know if I'd be doing that. So it's just kind of another problem to have. But ultimately, it would look sick. But then this kind of led me to thinking okay, well, why is that important to me? Why is looking sick important to me? So I started to question this. And this kind of led to what am I optimizing for? What am I optimizing my life and my finances around? Right? If I go down this route, in the short term, let's clean this up a little bit. But if I go down this route, right? If we go short term, long term, the short term is going to be sick because I'm driving around this brand new whip that's costing me a bunch of money every single month and takes a lot of my cash reserves and just pretty much drains them. I was even considering tapping into my emergency fund, which is not, if you ever are in the situation where you even think about that, the decision, the right decision is to not do that. But anyways, it would be all fine and dandy, sunshine and roses in the short term. But then I'm down a bunch of money. And in the long term, I've been missing out on a lot of opportunities on using that capital better, right? Whereas if I took this route and said no, which I did, yeah, kind of sad, right? It would be sick to whip around Saudi, roll up to the gym, just be dope. But nonetheless, like, does it really matter? So in the short term, I'm making that sacrifice, pulling up in my current vehicle that I don't like. It's great, does its job. I don't love it, right? But I'm saving that money, and what that can do for me is I can reinvest that, redeploy it into other avenues that are going to help me build wealth over the long term. So in the long term, I'm actually gonna be much better off, and I could buy like 7 Audis a week if I really want to, right? So that's kind of the decision making process that I kind of visualize. It's like, yes, it would be great in the short term, but in the long term, it will lead to this. And I would probably regret it. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, right? Maybe looking sick would be awesome and I'd have a ton of fun and wouldn't regret it one bit. But then it also led to like, okay, well, like, what's my definition of like sick and why is that important? It's like why is that important to me? And really the answer was like, well, it's literally just trying to impress other people. And then I was like, why do I care what other people think of me or the car that I drive? Like, who am I trying to impress? And are those people even the type of people that I want to attract in my life, anyways? Do I want to attract somebody who likes me because I drive a nice car? No, not at all. And my dad kind of helped me see that as well, because I was talking to him over the weekend. We went camping together, and I was telling him about what I was about to do. And well, actually, I was telling him about something else, like fitness stuff, and just like walking down the beach, just like people like turning heads, like, oh damn, that guy like super jacked and stuff like that. And then he's like, oh man, like he's like, that's the last thing I'd want. He's like, I wouldn't want people to be like attracted to me just for those like surface level materialistic reasons. It's like, huh. The same kind of applies to this. The only reason I would get this is for the emotional high of a few weeks of driving a new car, and then it'll just be like this upside down frown will turn into a frown. I'd be like, man, what if I used all that money, dump it into investments, and made a ton more? I think I'd be a little resentful. So yeah, like what are you optimizing for? I think that's kind of the question, the overall question here that you need to ask yourself. It's like, am I optimizing for the surface level opinions of other people, or am I optimizing for the long term stuff that makes sense, the things that successful people do, which is control their impulses and delay their gratification and build true wealth? And to me, and my goals and what I want to achieve in life, this decision did not align with that. I want to achieve this, but that decision would have taken me over here, right? And therefore, it was, when I kind of laid it out like this, it was an easy decision to make. This thing will not help me achieve my goals, right? And you can replace this car with whatever you want, right, to help you kind of make those decisions. Let's say like business coaching, right, or a course, or something that improves your skills. If you put that here, in the short term, it's going to be kind of like reverse. In the short term, like it makes sense to do, right? You invest money to learn skills, to level up, to increase the value you take to the market, so that way you can earn more, right? So in the short term, it's going to suck because you got to put all this time and effort to actually like just not do other things and do this thing instead and focus and sacrifice. But in the long term, it's going to set you up so much better. Whereas if you don't do it, you're going to spend that money either way on stupid shit that doesn't matter. And then 12 months from now, you're going to be in the same spot, not providing much value, not having much skills, and then bitching and moaning and complaining that you're not making much money, right? So it goes both ways, regardless of what it is that you're doing here. And I think it really depends on like what your risk tolerance is. Like to me, like this is where I'm at in life right now. It's like I can afford to. I want to make the sacrifices in the short term because I can afford to right now, and because I want to set myself up for success down the road. So in some sick, twisted way, it's like I almost want to. Like I actually kind of look forward to delaying that pleasure. And obviously, it's a lot easier said than done because I was really damn close and pulling the trigger here. But nonetheless, like really just get clear on what it is that you want out of your life in the long term and figure out what's more important to you, the short-term high or the long-term success, and then base your decisions off of that, right? So the decision that I made was to delay the gratification. I chose to take this route, the red pill, if you will, and not do that. But what I can do with this money now, I can redeploy this into skills, knowledge, lessons, courses, more coaching. And what all of this is going to do is lead to a much better future and help me make way more money than what that's going to cost me anyways, right? Like if it's going to cost, let's say I throw like 10 grand into a coaching program to help me get better at sales, like it's going to make me so much more money than 10 grand in the long term. It's going to make me way better at sales, way better at coaching our clients on how to sell. And actually today, one of our clients, Nick, we had a one-to-one call last week. He had some questions about like a client that he was working with for a small retainer, and I pretty much gave him some advice, told him how to bump it up. And today, he locked him in for $7,000 a month for the one client. So it's like the more I invest into my own skills, the more our clients inside Consultant Blueprint benefit as well, and it's just a win-win for everybody. Yeah, it might suck going through it. And would I much rather, like in the short term, would I much rather throw all that cash into a brand new whip and ride around feeling sick? Yeah, I would. But does it make sense? No. Not for where I want to take my life. And then like I do this as well, and then it's like, well, this is gonna like I said before, I could literally buy like 7 Audis in a week if I wanted to, after really just doubling down on this, and then it just kind of makes it a bit of a no-brainer, right? So that said, if we kind of take this lesson and expand it over here, kind of just looks like this. It's like focus on your internal, and then your external will catch up, right? If this is time and this is like results, all of this is like learning skills, building, getting experience, learning lessons, stuff like that. And then finally it leads to results. But there's that lag, there's that time delay. The things you do right here are exactly what is going to cause this exponential growth down the road. But it can also look like this, right? The things you do today, they could send you this way, closer towards your goals. Or buy the car now that you can't really afford just to look sick, take you down here, put you further away. And also the way I see it as well, like I was just watching a webinar with Patrick Bet-David, and pretty much he explained like the concept of like chase your next zero. And the way I see it, it's like this is where I'm at right now. Let's say I'm at net zero, debt free, whatnot. If I bought that car, it would put me way back here, right, in the negative. And essentially, I'd be digging myself this hole here that I have to crawl out of to try and inch my way back to net zero. Or if I don't do this and I redeploy all that capital over here, invest in myself, invest in other things, well, now I'm one step closer to my goals over here. No, more than one step. I'm a hell of a lot further, right? And then instead of having to go back once and then forward again, right? If I go, instead of going back, I go forward, and then I go forward again, well, now I'm like twice as far because I didn't have to go back. I didn't have to take a step back to take another one just to get back to the same spot where I'm at right now, right? It just, when you put it like this, it just makes so much more sense. So it's like chasing your next zero. It's like if you're worth $0, like, or if you're worth like $1,000, like do whatever it takes to get to 10, right? If you're worth 1K, do whatever it takes. Put your head down and grind. Focus on yourself until you hit 10K, and then 100K, right? And then a mil, and just keep going up from there. So that's kind of what I've kind of recalibrated my sights on to really keep the main thing, and just focus on what actually matters, which is this, right? Achieving my goals a lot sooner rather than digging myself my own grave, my own hole that I have to dig myself out of, right? And when you kind of visualize it like this, it's like kind of makes it a lot easier to make the right decisions that are actually aligned with your vision and your goals and your purpose. Because the things I do today are going to stack up. They're going to take me in one of these two directions. And I get to choose which one that is. If I do the good things that are going to benefit me in the long term more often than not, then I'm going to ride this line. If I don't do those things, or if I do bad things, I'm going to ride down here, right? And buying that car would have put me down here, because I'd be putting myself in a pretty tough financial spot, buying something that I can't afford, really. I mean, I could, but not really, just to impress people I don't really give a shit about and whatnot. So, yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this thinking. It's a bit of a different style of video, and I can expand more on kind of the decision-making process here, but I hope the principle of these diagrams helps you make the same logical, right decisions as well in the future when you're faced with stuff like this. It's like, do I want this because I actually want it? It's going to like benefit me and get me closer towards my goals? Or do I want this because I think other people want me to have it, or I think it would impress other people? And am I just doing it for what they would think of me? I see like in this space, a lot of people like buy like nice watches, nice cars, stuff like that. And then other people see that and be like, oh, I need one of those. But it's like, once you get it, it's just empty, You're not actually gonna love it. You're gonna feel better for a little bit. In the short term, you're gonna feel pretty good. Then it's not gonna do much for you, right? You gotta connect your decisions to a bigger purpose. What is it that you actually want in life? And what are you willing to sacrifice in the short term in order to make that happen and to get it? So that said, if this video is helpful, let me know. Drop a comment below and like this video if you want to see more of these, because it's a bit of a different style than just kind of sitting in front of the camera talking. I feel like it's much easier to describe, to explain it this way. But yeah, if you like this video and if you have any questions as well, and if you want to follow the journey a little bit closer, go follow me on Instagram. post pretty often on there. It's a great way to ask questions and kind of get in touch with me. So Jeremy_Pogue. And other than that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.